Hi, in this session, we're going to be continuing what we have started in the previous session. In the previous session, we just animated a box, and I talked definitely in general about animation, about the frame rate, and we started animation with the box, and I animated on the transform. So move, and I did a rotation animation and a scale animation. In this case, in this session, we're going to be doing something else. I'm just going to draw a sphere, for example, in here, and I'm just going to draw, let's say, a box in here. Now, first of all, I'm going to animate materials. If I'm going to go to this sphere, I'm going to go to M for material editor, and I'm just going to drop any material, and I'm going to turn on my auto key, and I'm going to say on the 20, let's say I'm going to start from 0 with the color red. 25, I want it to become blue. On frame 50, I want it to become green. Frame 75, I want it to become yellow. And on frame 100, I want it to become red. Okay, or I want it to become the same color as I started. Great. So as you can see, I have now keys. Those keys are black color. Black color, it means technically in this case is material, and at the same time I'm going to be working with object animation, and it's going to be also black. So if I play now, as you can see, I have the change of color. So I have animation on the material, in this case, by changing the color. I can also do a lot of animation by using all these kind of colors and the presets. I can animate them. For example, let's say I'm gonna start maybe also change color and change the reflection or the refraction. Let's say in my case I'm gonna go refraction. So I'm just gonna go for example in here, just gonna play around with this. So I'm gonna make it white and then I'm gonna make it black. So I'm gonna start black in here and I'm gonna make it white in here. So it's going to be fully transparent. Oops, I just changed the reflection instead of refraction. So I'm just gonna play around with the refraction. So on frame 50, I'm gonna make the refraction white. And then on frame 75, I'm gonna make it black again. So now as you can see, I just have some kind of transparency to that. It's going to be transparent and then come back. You see that it's going to change color at the same time. It's going to green, but it's going transparent. Now it's fully transparent, as you can see, fully transparent. And then it will come back from green to yellow and continue. Okay, so I have this kind of animation. I can change any value in the material, so I can make it maybe reflective, I can make it change the glossiness, I can change the IOR, I can change mainly a lot of options inside the material. At the same time, I'm just gonna select this box. I'm gonna add a height segment to it because I want it to behave differently. First of all, I'm gonna go to twist and I'm gonna animate the twist. So I'm gonna go frame 50 and I'm gonna animate the twist to become let's say 360 degrees, and then we'll go back to 0. So now it's going to be twist, then back. I'm just gonna make this kind of faster. So on the 25 and the 50, so I'm just gonna make it like this. So it's gonna twist, then go back, and now I want it to bend maybe at the same time. Or let's make it easy. I'm gonna make it easy. I'm gonna make it bend with the twist. Okay, so I'm just gonna move the keys back to their places. So I'm going to twist and go back. Now at the same time, I'm gonna select this box. I'm gonna go to bend, and I'm gonna go from 0 to 50, or maybe from 0 to 25. I want it to bend 90 degrees. Then to 50, I'm gonna make it bend, or maybe more, to 75. I'm gonna make it bend minus 90, and then back to 0. Let's see what we have now. Play. Okay, so it's bending and twisting, and I can play around with all the values inside the modifier tab. Those values that I'm animating in here, they are called object keys. So now I'm going to show you what does that mean in a moment. So I'm animating on bend, I'm animating on twist, and I can animate on the box value, which are the default box. For example, I can animate the segments, I can animate the length. For example, let's say I'm going to start with the height of 30, or maybe let's say 40. On frame 50, I want it to become 70 taller, and it's going to go back to 40. I think it was 40. Yes. So now if I play, as you can see, this is going taller and shorter. So I'm animating on these values. As you can see, they are animated. So they are playing. I can animate on the width and the height. Let's say I'm going to make it 10 by 10. And then I want it to go back where it was. Actually, I don't know the values. So it's 8.9. I'm going to just make it 8. I'm going to make it 6. So I'm just going to go here. I'm going to make it 8 and 6. Okay. So it's going to be taller and fatter, and then going back thinner and shorter. So I can just animate everything, whatever I want. I can move them. I can animate on the transformation, move, rotate, scale. I can animate on the material, and I can animate on this object. Great. Now, what I was doing all the time, I was animating each object by itself and having transformation by themselves. For example, rotate by itself, move by itself, scale by itself, material by itself, and the object by itself. What if I want an object to be animated in everything? For example, I'm just gonna create a box, okay, and I'm gonna animate this box. So first of all, I'm just gonna do the same animation on the move tool. So I'm gonna move it 25 in here. At the 50 frame, I'm just gonna move it till here. On the 75 frame, I'm gonna move it till here. And on the 0, just gonna copy it till 100 to return to the same place. Now, I have move key. What about rotation at the same time? I'm gonna move this 180 degrees. Okay, I'm just gonna press the Alt, the angle, snap, so 360. I'm gonna rotate this on the Z 360. Just gonna go in this way, I'm gonna go backward 360. And now I'm gonna do the same thing, but the opposite way 360. Now, as you can see, I have two keys at the same time. I have one red and one green. You can see the colors. They are divided into two colors, red and green. Now, if I play, it's going to be moving and rotating at the same time. Great. What if I want scaling with that? So I'm just going to go squash and stretch. So I'm going to make it this way, the value. Okay. If I want to make sure, I can just make sure this is going to be hundreds. I'm gonna go in here, I'm gonna stretch this, I'm gonna squash this, I'm gonna stretch it again, and when I go back, it's going to be 100. So 100 by 100 by 100. So it's going to be the same value. So now, as you can see, we have three colors on the same key. So we have red, green, and blue. RGB, move, rotate, and scale. So now if I play it, it's going to be stretching and squashing, rotating, and moving at the same time. What if I add material to that? So I'm just gonna add this material. And this material is already animated, as you can see. So it's going to be animated, but all I need to do is I'm just gonna change the material here, make it black. All the time I want it to be black, so I don't want to lose the animation in here, so everything is going to be good. And now, as you can see, it's animated on the move, rotation, and scale and material. What if I want to animate something else? Let's say I'm going to add modifiers to that, like I did before. So maybe a twist. Okay, so just make sure I have the segments enough. That's perfect. So on the 25th frames, and I'm going to make this 360. then I'm gonna go make it 0, then I'm gonna make it 360 again, and then I'm gonna make it 0. And I can add different modifiers if I want, as I've done before, let's say band or whatever. So I'm just gonna go now play. So it's moving, rotating, scaling, changing the material, and changing the object or the parameter of the object. Okay, so I'm animating the parameters. So that's it. That's awesome. Okay, the problem is now that all my keys are on the same frames. What if I want to change, make the position go faster or the rotation goes faster? I don't want to scale it all. If I select this key, as you can see, I'm just going to move all the keys, which are the move, rotate, scale, the material, and the object. If I want to filter them, to move, select one of them, all I need to do is right-click on the timeline, go to filter, and I can filter by default, it's all keys. So I'm going to see all the keys. I can see only transform keys. So move, rotate, and scale. So now I can just move the move, rotate, scale together if I want. Not this the gizmo of the twist and the material. I can at the same time, if I want to move I want to change the keys of the rotation, for example, I can right-click filter, and instead of all transform keys, I can go to the current transform. If I go to the current transform, now I have the scale key, so I can see only the scale. If I go to the move key, I can see the move keys. If I go to the rotate keys, I'm gonna go see the rotate. So whatever the current transforms, I have move, rotate, or scale, I can see the ones below. And at the same time, I can see just the object materials, so the object keys, or I can see the materials key, which are almost the same as I said because they are black. So that's basically it. So I can filter now, and I can play around with the materials, the keys of the materials, or the keys of the object, or the keys of move, rotate, or scale, or whatever I want. In this case, I'm just going to leave it as is. I'm not going to move. So now all I need to do, I'm going to select all those keys. For example, I want to make them faster. If I want to make them faster, I need to move the keys towards each other. Instead of moving each key by itself, I can select all keys, and I can grab this range, as you can see just below. So if I click in here and I will squash it from the left, and I can squash it from the right, and as you can see, it will make it proportional to go faster. If this range is not visible to you, just right click on the timeline, configure, and show selection range. Okay, so if you press show selection range, when you select the keys, you will see the range, and then you can move it and scale the whole animation, or the set of keys that you're selecting. And now, as you can see, my animation is going to be fast. If it's too fast, I'm just going to make it a bit slower. Just going to pause it, make it a bit slower. For example, maybe like that. And now it's going to be faster, but not as fast as it was. Okay, so it's going from 0 to 70 instead of 0 to 100. Okay, so that's basically the animation, and I've been animating on the move. I animated rotation, I animated scale, and I animated the materials, and animated the object or the parameters of each object.